best version of ourselves going into week 10. And our thing right now is earn four. We got that's promised to us. We got to earn a fourth one.
So what is your goals for today? I'm not talking about keys to the game, but what we want to see happen today?
I want to see us execute, obviously, on both sides of the ball. I want to continue to see our fight, our heart that we have. From a defense standpoint, I want to see us flying around and rallying to the ball and finding ways to make impacts on the defense. Linemen that are pretty stout, but we've got a game plan to where if we do what we're supposed to, we should be able to move the ball the way we want to. So those are things that I really want to focus on, and hopefully our kids got that throughout this week, and we're ready to go.
Any injuries?
We've got a couple injuries. One of our DNs, Terrell Woods, he's out possibly for the season with an elbow. We got Isaac Greer, who was our long snapper. He's out for the season with a wrist. And then we got a couple other guys that are banged up, with knees, bruises, contusions, and things of that nature. And we'll have to see how they work out throughout this next 25 minutes, and see if they're ready to go.
It's bound to happen at some point. You're going to catch up to him. Long snapper, that's a important position to say the least. How were we set there?
We've got a backup that's been pretty solid, Joshua O, who's our center as well. And then we got another guy that's a receiver that's pretty solid. So we're pretty good with those two going and snapping as well.
All right, and then weather-wise, it's a really pleasant day. Should be really nice. But on the other hand, the wind may be a factor tonight. It actually is quite windy out.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely something that's in our mind. But for us, again, it's controlling the clock. Trying to find ways to limit their offense and sustain our drives and give our defense breaks where we can get out and make plays.
All right, should be a good one. Good luck. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that's Coach Willie Horn. I'm Joel Becker, and this is Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
High school sports fans, Trent Green here, and when I want the latest scores and news, there's only one place I go, 810varsity.com. Live scores, features, brackets, and even watch games live on the laptop, phone, or mobile device. Watch the Lee Summit, Blue Springs, and Park Hill schools, Blue Valleys, Olathes, Rockhurst, Miege, Lansing. The list goes on into Missouri and Kansas. And playoff broadcasts too, plus top 25, awards, and more. Check it out now, Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com.
Welcome back live here at Titan Stadium. Joel Becker along with Coach Royce Boehm, Lee Summit West and Lee Summit North. Titans and Broncos tonight. And the Titans won the toss and deferred, so they'll be kicking off. This Lee Summit North team, 7-1 as they come in to this week's game. And they are on a 7-game winning streak. They actually lost their opening week back in August to Liberty North and have not dropped a game since then, including to the Lee Summit High Tigers, a 38-14 win that they had, and that was in about week 3 or so.
No, I tell you what, just looking across the field here, Lee Summit North, they've got some good-looking specimens.
I can't tell. I can't see any of their numbers.
75, 6'5", 305, just good-looking kid. And then they've got 4 more like him. I mean, they're Division I. Oh, nope, didn't quite get it.
Unless they give it to him. It was right on the line. I think they're going to say that it's a
backwards.
Yeah, no, illegal touching.
Right.
It was just shy, and so that means that it will be Lee Summit North ball at the 50-yard line. As you can see, it's right. They're putting the ball down on the 50-yard line, and that's what the coaching staff is like. How can the ball be on the 50-yard line if he didn't touch it? But
you and I both saw it.
Yeah,
he was.
It just basically kind of. It just kind of slowed down just enough, and he reached back and grabbed it.
They did a better job.
And they put the ball down just on the other side of the 50-yard line,
where we saw
which is really where it was. So it was a good call. Unfortunate. It was a great idea, though.
Oh, it was.
And it would have worked had he kicked it just a hair harder than he did. So we'll see this Broncos offense, and it is the jet sweep to start things off with Mosey on the carry, and he will pick up. And we got a flag at the end of the play. There was some, I don't know if the ball had either come loose or somebody thought that it did or whatever, but there was a bunch of people that sort of ran in. We'll see. It was a personal foul against the Broncos. I mean, it looked like they just came in and tried to help Mosey up, but they apparently did so in a violent enough way that the officials thought that it was worthy of a flag. I'm not sure if this will be considered post-play where it's going to stay second down.
Do you remember this name, Joel? Jaden Hines.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, he was a Titan last year. Now he's a Bronco.
Okay. Not a far move.
No. But back in the day, you couldn't do that.
I was just going to say you could in year one. You had a lot of people on your team. Second down and 19 after the penalty. It was a gain of like 7 or so. And then there's a give right up the middle. That's going to be Baker on the carry. And he looked like he was able to get about 7 yards back, but it's still going to be third down and 12 as he's about 2 yards shy of the midfield stripe. And we'll see what they do on an early third and long as Quincy Baker gets the call. Couple of running plays. I don't know if this wind is going to make a big difference in tonight in terms of the throwing game or not. We may find out here on third down and 12. Leonard back to throw. He's got time now. He's being chased. He'll throw it toward the sideline, threw it out of play, as he just didn't have the opportunity to find anybody open. A coverage sack really more than anything else. Wasn't a sack. I mean, he threw it away, but still. It'll set up a fourth down and presumably a punting situation, although we'll have to kind of wait and see. I wouldn't imagine. Although, again, I guess if we aren't worried about their offense, they may not be worried about ours. They're not in punting formation, although you can always get a quick kick here. And that, I think, may be what we're seeing.
Yeah.
As Leonard drops back, and he will do the quick pooch kick. Huffman went back, but it's going to go well over his head, and a great kick goes inside the 10, down right at about the 10-yard line. So the Titans will get started from their own 9. Kind of see that happening.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what, that was a good stop. Good first series.
Yeah, good first series. So guess they don't need to warm up. We'll see what the offense can do, though. Just underway. We've played minute and 23 seconds so far of the first quarter. Now, obviously, the Titans were helped out by the personal foul penalty more than anything else, because they had, 7-8 yards on that first down play. So Wolverton will start things off. Good. The ball's on their own 9-yard line. Now they got trips out to the right side. Mayo to the left, and we get movement. I do believe this is going to be offsides on the Broncos. So in the first 5 plays of the game, we've had 2 penalties on the Broncos so far.
Yes, and when you were setting up the depth chart here, Joe, was there a lot of guys going both ways?
No.
For Broncos?
No, I don't think there were any.
Okay.
Quite a few guys still here from last year.
Right.
But not too many, platoon. There was all platoon. Quick toss out, and it's going to be Sims, and he will go out of bounds around the 25-yard line. Well, good enough for a first down. On first down and 5, he picks up about 11. And Tavion Sims with using his speed that time.
He was.
So a couple of good first couple plays for the Titans.
That's a good-looking defensive end out there. 6'6",
you're gonna have
255.
You're going to have to be more specific because they have about 5 good-looking defensive ends out there, or defensive players anyway, on the line. Mayo breaks a tackle, though, and is able to get up the middle of the field across the 30 to the 33. He was taken down by Nwaneri, one of their, what they call the 3-tech position on the line.
Big 3-tech.
It's a pickup of 8, second down and 2. So Interesting formation here. They don't go huddle, but they kind of line up in a line so that they can all see the sideline. Second down and short. Man in motion and a give again to Mayo up the middle, big hole. And David Mayo with power running gets across the 40 to about the 42. And David Mayo did a good job of cutting that time to follow his hole.
He did a great job of cutting back to his left.
And that turned what would have been a gain anyway into a much longer gain. Moves the chains again. First down and 10 Titans on their own 42. Their opening offensive drive after a 3-and-out for the Broncos. Wolverton in the shotgun. He switches Torrey and Sims left to right. Now Sims in motion. He'll go back the other way as they try and toss it to him again. And looking for somewhere to go. Gets around the outside and out of bounds about the 45. It'll be a gain of 3. Second down and 7. The chain gang heard footsteps on that one.
They did. I've noticed on the Broncos coaching staff, a couple Blue Springs former coaches over there.
Second down and 7. Sims in motion again. Give to Mayo, looking for a hole. This time nothing appears, and a good play that time by Durden, big number 91 in the middle. And he was able to wrap up Mayo for no gain. Third down and 7, and we may see our first pass of the game. Well, that's not true. There were some swing passes. Our first downfield pass from Wolverton. But after I bring that up because I thought last week was probably his best game as a passer as a Titan. And I wasn't sure how much they were going to build on it or not today. I think it will depend on the game situations, but we'll see here on 3rd and 7 as they try and set up a screen as he was looking for last week's favorite target of Miller, but that was batted down as we got pretty good penetration from the right defensive end position.
Yeah.
And the Titans will have to punt.
Well, he got some height on the edge there, and I don't think he was anticipating getting that one knocked down.
Well, and again, he was trying to set up the screen, so they allowed them to get through, and it was one of those things where he was going one direction and turned and threw, and I'm not so sure he really even saw that he was there, although he probably should have. Mayo steps into one high, a bit short. It will bounce and take a Titan bounce, but it's going to go into the end zone. That was unfortunate. It hit like right inside the 20 and just took a hard bounce forward. You never know with these footballs what they're going to do once they hit the turf. And that one just skidded right on into the end zone. So it is the equivalent of if there was like a 2-yard return on where the ball actually landed. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20. But a big change in field position. If you remember, they started at midfield their first drive because of the onside kick not going through. And so this time starting from their own 20. We'll see if the Titan defense can continue to step up, although, again, they were held out quite a bit by a 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty on the first play from scrimmage. And it will be a give, trying to go right side. There's a flag down as Baker once again gets across the line, but not very far, maybe 2-3 yards, but this one's going to be a hold, I do believe.
Yeah, it looks like it. In the area of it.
And holding is the call. Have you noticed, by the way, and I imagine you did this when you were a coach too, but as a broadcaster, that you're kind of looking for penalties while plays are going.
Yes.
Just to see what you see.
Absolutely.
I do the same thing, obviously, as well. And I only bring that up because last week when the Chiefs were playing and we had our adventures in officiating on Monday Night Football. Before the big one that everybody complained about the next day, there was a series where I literally was watching on 5 straight plays. I saw a penalty that didn't get called.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. Now, granted, I'm looking for them, but so are the guys in stripes supposed to be.
Right.
From the pistol after the hold, it is a give again, and this time we've got another flag down. Better running. It was House on the carry. Well, but this one I think is coming back as well. Pleading his case.
And he better look out.
holding again the call against the Broncos. So, like I said, that is now their 4th penalty in 4:02 of play.
Right.
I don't know how many plays we've had, like a dozen or so, and we've had 4 penalties in around 12 or so plays. So that one will be half the distance to the goal. And it'll be first down from the 5. They need to get to the 30, so it's 1st and 25.
And we're still on first down.
Yep. So they go twins on the left, 1 man on the right. Pistol formation, House in the end zone. And rolling out to the right side, being chased and throwing it out of bounds was Ford. They use both quarterbacks. They list Leonard and Ford, and I think they kind of run a platoon with the 2, and that time it was Ford just throwing the ball away.
One's a senior, one's a junior. Good-looking quarterbacks. Gee, 6'3".
Yep. And looks like Leonard's going to come back in, and Ford goes out. I don't know if one of them's the better thrower and one's the better runner, or if it's just a platoon or what.
Well, I tell you what, I remember those days. Those were fun days.
So it is going to be a keeper up the middle, and not much there. Gain of a couple right up the middle for Leonard. And he'll pick up, they're going to give him to the 8, it looks like. So pick up of 3, and it'll be 3rd down and 20. Well, I think he really gave him to the 9. So let's say 3rd and 21, long 21.
Yeah.
7:09 and counting, first quarter, no score. It's been a long three down series so
sure
far
has.
because of the penalties. We'll see if they go to the air here or just get them out of their end zone and punt it away. From the pistol, they do give it to Baker. He's looking right side, hit and tackled at the 10. Maybe fell forward to the 11. And it'll be 4th down and about 19 from there. Yeah, I remember the old B.J. Jackson years of platooning quarterbacks with the Lee Summit West Titans from time to time.
Jake Johnson and B.J.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Now, they're in a normal offense here, but I imagine they're again going to just drop Leonard back and punt it away, which is what they're doing formation-wise. Huffman was already back deep. And he will step into it. It's going to come down to Huffman at the 44. Makes one man miss, gets hit.
Ooh.
There's a flag down as he gets to the 40, but no further.
Had to be clipping. Blocking the back.
We'll see on the call here in just a second. The flag was on the far side of the field. Not anywhere near what happened.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that it wasn't an illegal block, like you said, or a hold. And looks like it is going to be an illegal block on the Titans. So that'll push them back into their own territory. So they're going to get the ball basically about where they were when they kicked it away on their own 47. 1st and 10 halfway through the first quarter, 6:01 left to go. So that ended up being a 3 and out.
And that's hard to believe.
Yeah.
10-minute 3 and out.
When they ran more than 3 plays, but they never got a first down. Mayo was tripped up as he was getting to the line. Good penetration there. Once again, it was Moore, the other nose guard, that kind of went in. And they've got the 2 big guys, 91, 95, that both, they're both doing their best Chris Jones impressions.
Yes, they are.
Because Mayo looked like he had some turf in front of him. If he could have gotten by that first level. 2nd down and 9, Twins on either side. Wolverton back to throw, throws. It was tipped incomplete. Looking for Halterman, but it was hit at the line. Second one of, in fact, I should say both of Wolverton's throws that he was trying to go downfield with have gone tipped at the line. So it'll be 3rd and 9.
I tell you what, West still hadn't figured out their roster yet.
In terms of having
just numbers with the players.
Yeah.
It's Tyler Woods, 81, and they have Logan Scott
Oh, you mean on the?
on the.
Yeah, that's
program.
the same one I got. That I bring those, and they haven't updated the one they gave me from the beginning of the year. It's right on your
I
depth
see.
chart.
Yeah, don't forget it's Tyler.
Is it?
Yeah,
What did I put on there?
Taylor.
Oh,
That's all right.
it's okay. I can't read it anyway. 3rd down and 9. Shotgun formation. They show blitz, and on play action, trying to set up a screen. They get it. They get it to Quincy, but he fell down. There's a flag down though.
Gosh. Remember what we were just talking about,
Yeah.
calling a flag on every down?
Now this is an interesting call here, because you've got them in a 4-down territory. They didn't get positive yards, but they only got to like the 49, maybe a yard or so. And so they'd have to punt it away if you just left things the way they are. But it's because of the fact that it's the spot foul, they could have sent them back to like the 30, but you'd have given them one more shot on offense. I'm not so sure if I were the Broncos, I wouldn't have taken that penalty just to get better field position, because you most likely would end up with a punt anyway.
Right.
As they did decline it, and Mayo from his 35 steps into it, got it away. High, nice punt. And again, bouncing inside the 20, this time toward the sideline, goes inside the 10, down to the 5, and will be down at about the 4-yard line. So
Nice
I was
punt.
apparently using my Jedi powers when I said I probably would have taken the penalty. It seems like that would have been a better choice, as it turned out, but it's a lot easier to say that now. I don't know. What would you have done?
You know what? I probably would have declined it myself.
Yeah, just say I'll take the ball.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have enough. If I'm the Broncos, I have enough confidence in my defense on what would have been a 3rd and 20
Right.
to not lose yardage on the play. But at any rate. All right, so second straight time.
Oh,
boy,
man.
quick snap, and almost took by surprise on the Wildcat. There is a flag down.
Gosh.
What a surprise there, and it goes ahead to maybe the 8-yard line. It would be a gain of 3 as it stands. I don't know if there was maybe an illegal shift on that because of the quick snap. Maybe somebody wasn't set, I'm thinking, or it could have been a hold. Nope, it's an illegal block against the Titans, and it's from like the 2-yard line, so it'll be half the distance from the 2 and should put the ball down on the 1.
It's on the Broncos, right?
On the Broncos.
Okay.
What did I say?
Titans.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're making a mistake that I would make.
So they're going to decline it and take the result of the play, which is interesting because it was, I don't know,
Well,
I certainly would not do that. Why would you want a second? I mean, it was only a gain of a yard or so. And I get that you'd be giving them another down, but I'd want them on the 1-yard line. So a couple of times where they declined penalties, I wouldn't have. Leonard hands the ball off Baker, and trying to go over right tackle, they stop him after maybe a half a yard gain to the 7, and it'll be 3rd down from there. So 3rd down and long. 3rd and about, well, they need the 14. The ball's on the 7, so let's call it 3rd and 7. Pistol formation, Twins on the left. We'll see if they come after Leonard. They do not. And the throw, and it is caught for a 1st down up near the 20-yard line.
nice throw.
Yeah.
Wow.
Put Mosey on the catch. And that was a bullet up to the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, which is where we started
Yeah.
way back when, the last series. We're down to 3:37 left to go in the first quarter, scoreless. Neither offense is really, that was the longest play from scrimmage, I think, of any team the whole game right there. And that was, 13 yards. So on 1st and 10, give, And Howes finds a couple of holes, finally gets hit around the 30. He should have enough for a first down. We'll see where they spot it, but he got right up to the 30-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Broncos. A couple of straight first down plays.
A little injury there.
See who came off?
Terrell Woods. But
Oh.
I thought Terrell.
Maybe getting some time on defense. All right, on 1st and 10, and it is a keeper Leonard on the read option play and pulling forward and finally getting knocked down. As Strickland finally pulled him down right about midfield. And so it's going to be at the Titan 49. And that's a third straight play they've gotten a first down.
Yep.
2.5 minutes left to go, first quarter. Broncos finally on the move. Trips on the right, back to throw Leonard. Got time, swings the pass out, and it is caught, but good defense on the play to keep it to only maybe a yard gain. Winston on the catch. And was that Fredrickson or was that Randolph who came up and made the stop? I think it might have been Fredrickson. So gain of 1, 2nd and 9. They go back to the pistol again. One man out wide on the left side, Twins on the right, now a man in motion. And a handoff. Howes looking for a hole, and he's got a big hole, and it's going to go inside the 25, 20, 15. Tackled, a shoestring tackle to save a touchdown by Jackson Torrey. But a great run. What's unfortunate about it is that play should have been flagged for an illegal motion.
It should have.
Because you had a guy going forward when the snap was being. It's again what we're talking about of us looking for that sort of stuff. It's unfortunate. A lot of times those plays don't make a whole lot of difference.
But again, though, when you got a white hat and his crew that are flagging every other, you're forced to look.
You gotta wonder. All right, looks like they're gonna go Wildcat on this one, and we get a whistle. There's gonna be a false start or something, or no, a timeout was called. A timeout was called by the Broncos before that play came off. They had Hine taking the snap, it looked like, in a Wildcat, but never ended up going as a play. So minute 13, and like I said, we were talking about that. If you're going to call the game tight, call the game tight, but then that also means you can't just let stuff go.
Obvious ones, right?
And that one was in the relatively obvious category.
It was.
For those of you watching along with us on 810varsity.com, I'm sure you could see it was the running back coming out. He'd come in motion, and this is the same thing that Travis Kelce got flagged on Monday night. In fact, actually, in that game, and same sort of thing. You go from one side of the field to the other. If you are one of the setback receivers, you have to get set again. You don't necessarily have to come set, in a down position or anything like that. But what you can't be doing is moving toward the line of scrimmage. And he literally took a couple of steps, a step and a half, by the time the ball was snapped. Well, after the timeout, they come in the same formation, and Hine on the direct snap, going left side, breaks the tackle into the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown Broncos. As Jaden Hines, actually, there's an S on the end of his name, breaks the shutout, and it is 6-0 for the Broncos with the extra point to come. So 4 yards out, I think. Owen Barnhill for the extra point. Snap back, ball down, line drive kick. but he got it over
wow.
got it over the crossbar, and the extra point is good. 1:07 left to go, first quarter. The Broncos get on the board. They lead it 7-0. Kickoff coming up after this on Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com. Well, it was a slow start here at Titan Stadium for both teams. I mean, you could say that the defense was playing ahead of the offense, but really, like I said, it's just neither offense was executing until that drive.
Right.
And for whatever reason, Lee Summit North kind of got their act together, drove down the field from their own 5-yard line or so. Squib kick. And it's coming to an up man about the 24. It's Huffman trying to get around the side. Gets across the 30, 35, forced out of bounds. As he gets to around maybe the 38 or so. Good field position and a good return by Ethan Huffman, who normally is our punt returner, so knows what he's doing in that area. But, you know, you knew it was just a matter of time before their offense was going to get on track.
Yeah.
Now the key is we need to get ours.
Yes, we do.
We've moved the ball some, but again, not that many large chunks.
Not like we did last week.
Right. So, Wolverton and company. We had some good success up the middle between the tackles with Mayo on the first drive, and that's where they go on this play. And he gets up to the 40. Pickup of 3, 2nd and 7.
Broncos were thinking they had a fumble.
Well, that's there have been a few plays like that, and I haven't seen the ball out on any of them. So I'm wondering, just again, it's an interleague or inter-district game, and I don't know how much of it could just be hyped up feelings. A lot of adrenaline going on, or not. I don't know.
Okay, looks like Lee Summit West is flopping their offensive line.
Man in motion, and the give. Quincy Torrey breaks the tackle. And he hurdles, gets knocked down, but looks like good enough for a first down up at the 48-yard line. They'll stop the clock to move the chains, but that's probably going to be the last play of the first quarter. As we're under 10 seconds, they try and get up and run a play real quick. Trying to get the proper people in place.
What?
And that's going to do it. I don't know if they were really trying or if they were hoping that maybe the Broncos would jump off sides or something like that, but the quarter ends, and the Broncos with the only score, 7-0 after 12 minutes of football. Here from Titan Stadium, we will take a break and have quarter number 2 right after this on Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
High school sports fans, check this out. 810varsity.com now brings live video game casts for more than 25 KC Metro schools all season long. Now you can watch and listen to the games live on your computer, iPad, or phone. Park Hill South, Miege, Aquinas, the Olathe and Blue Valley schools, and the list goes on and on. Plus, live scores, playoff brackets, rankings, and more. Get all the games live at 810varsity.com.
Welcome back out to Titan Stadium. Joel Becker and Coach Royce Boehm as the Lee Summit West Titans trailing the Lee Summit North Broncos. 7-0 our score. After 1 quarter of play, Titans on the move. First down and 10 from their own 48-yard line. And the give up the middle, Mayo, and he had nowhere to go that time. Loss of a yard.
Got an early score from Boonville.
Oh, do you?
14-7, Boonville over Versailles.
Okay.
Thanks, Sid.
Well, we got to keep up to date on that.
Well, hell yes we do. We're not live, are we?
We are live.
I know, but
it's not on the radio. Internet.
There you go.
We're streaming live. 2nd and 11. Again from the shotgun this time. It's Jackson Torrey in motion. Throw over the middle and incomplete. Quincy Torrey, the intended target, and he hit him right in the hands with it, but he couldn't come down with it. There was a little contact there.
It was.
But it was right as the ball got there. I don't know. That one could have gone either way, I think.
Yeah.
You know, as an officiating crew, though, I do sometimes wonder when you do throw, 6, 7 flags on the first 20 plays, if it doesn't make you feel like you want to stop throwing flags and then start letting things go. And sometimes, you have a bunch of ticky-tack things at the beginning and then more egregious stuff doesn't get called. I don't know that was the case here. Trips on the left side. Rolling that direction is Wolverton, looking to throw in. He's got a man, and it is Torrey. And he catches the pass and gets knocked out of bounds. Jackson Torrey to about the 47 of the Broncos. It'll set up a 4th and 5, and it looks like the Titans are in a position to maybe go for it here. And maybe they're going to think better of it and send the punting unit out. Play clock down to 15, so they've still got plenty of time.
Yeah, smart move.
I don't know. If it was 14-0, maybe you do it. Their defense has done well so far. Mayo.
Well, we should take advantage of it. They only got 10 on the field.
The kick will go inside the 20 again, down to about the 16. He's had a good punting day so far, has David. And it'll be 1st and 10. The only thing that does concern me a little bit for the Titans' sake is this, is the ease at which the Broncos marched down the field their last time. And I'm not so sure that I wouldn't have pressed my luck there. You'd have been certainly taking a chance. And I'm usually the one to say no, punt it away, play the odds. But in this case, I don't know. It depends. We'll see if
we'll find out after this series.
Yeah, if they feel like they have corrected whatever it was that was allowing them to run down, then that might be fine. This time again, it is a keeper, Leonard, and he gets across the 20 to about the 22, maybe 23. And I'm just making sure that was in fact Leonard. No, it was the other quarterback, actually. On the keeper, that was Ford on the run. And it is a pickup of...
And it was a hole there. That was a smart read.
Pickup of about 7, 2nd down and 3. Ford again from the pistol. This time he gives it. Parker left side has a hole. And he'll get up across the 30 to the 31 before taken down on that play by Hoffman. It'll be 1st and 10, Broncos from their own 30. 10.5 minutes left to go here in the first half of play. Broncos on top 7-0. Broncos come out of the huddle with about 13 seconds left on the play clock. Ford from the shotgun has twins on either side. Now a man comes in motion, and we get a timeout. And an upset coach.
Very upset. We could hear him from up here.
Well, it was because he was about to get a delay of game call, and I think he was just upset that he wasn't paying attention to what the clock was saying, which I imagine is kind of frustrating for you people.
It is. It is.
I don't know. Do you think that I've always kind of wondered about this. Do you think that teams sometimes burn their timeouts too quickly as opposed to just taking the delay of game penalty, in games like this where, you know that it's getting close. And I see that even in the NFL games and whatnot. Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, sometimes coaches don't put enough value on those timeouts. And maybe in the first half you can make that case more so.
Very
but
true.
I'll see it in both.
Yeah. I think it just depends on the flow of the game, where you're at, what's the score.
Yep. All right, so after the timeout, 1st and 10 from the 30. Twins on the left, again a man in motion now, puts a third receiver on the right side, Pump fake and a throw incomplete, looking for Howes was Ford. And that will set up a 2nd and 10. So, like I said, sometimes it's a tough one because, if you at the end of the game, if you have the ball, it's really easy to stop it if you need to. So, whether it's the end of the half or end of the game, having those timeouts are maybe not that valuable if you're on offense. But if you're trying to stop a team from running the clock out,
very true.
That's a big problem. Give off of right tackle, big stick there to finish it off on the carry. Now we get a flag at the end. This may go against the Broncos as Winston very upset on the play. I don't know if this will be some version of unsportsmanlike conduct or some sort of personal foul. It's a personal foul against the Broncos.
Do you notice which 2 officials are throwing the flags?
All officials look alike to me.
No, those 2.
Well, I mean, some of that may be, just where the infractions are taking place.
Yeah.
But I would
I'm
say
going to tell you, I've had trouble with this group.
Okay. But I feel like I may be wrong about this, but I feel like the Broncos came into this game in a rather undisciplined mindset for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Right.
But again, it may just be they feel like they have an opportunity to really take it to the Titans, a team that has been, the Titans have beaten the Broncos on a number of occasions, even as the Broncos were getting to be a better team.
Right.
And so, it may have been just the excitement about that. I don't know. And it may have been completely unrelated. But at any rate, after the penalty, 3rd down and 19, the ball back at the 21-yard line, And over the middle, Ford throws incomplete. He had a man wide open. And that was Winston, who was the guy who was upset at the end of that last play. And he was a little late in turning around to look for the ball, but it was way overthrown anyway.
It was.
So I'm not so sure it would have made a difference. Presumably we'll get a punt here. Now, the way they do set this up, obviously their punter is their quarterback, and they seem to like to set up an offense and then drop it back and kick it. I do wonder how many times throughout the season so far
they've gone for it.
They've actually, run a play out of this formation as opposed to dropping back and kicking it. Now, having a safety go way back like Huffman, now I would assume not on 4th and 20 from your own 20-yard line would they do that. But I do wonder in other situations as Leonard kicks it. Pretty good kick. Huffman has it bounce over his head. Will he try and field it? Well, he did, and he dropped the football, but does fall on top of it and lost his some sort of piece of equipment for a little second, but he's going to, boy, that's a good way to turn the special teams coach's hair gray.
Yes.
It was one of those things where, in a best case scenario, he never lets that ball go over his head in the first place.
I think he's being told that right now.
But but when he did realize that it was there, and then he thought maybe I can touch it. They're not here yet. He outkicked the coverage, but what happened is exactly the reason why you don't do that. Luckily, he was able to maintain possession, and the Titans have it from their own 22, trailing 7-0. 9:39 left to go, first half. Titans really have not been able to get too untracked on offense. They go Wildcat to start things off, and Mayo on the quarterback draw up the middle, and he was able to break a couple of arm tackles and get up across the 25 to about the 27. That'll be a pickup of 5, 2nd and 5 from there. Wolverton will come out for this one. And I notice they're still not going with the charts and going with the signals, trying to get the play in.
Right. And do you see him flip-flopping the line there?
Yep. Mayo trying to get around the right side, breaks one tackle, and he did a good job of at least getting positive yards there. Again, they very rarely send David Mayo to go around the tackles. And he had to break a couple of tackles even just to get positive yards.
He did.
managed to get up to about the 29, so it'll be a 3rd down and 3 from there. So because of the fact they're using these signals and they're not using the tall, signs, that's why they're in this odd sort of huddle, but it's not really a huddle. It's just a line of people.
Uh-huh.
Of course, it also does sort of hide the way they're going to put their offensive line out there until the last second. And we get whistles and a timeout for the Titans. Again, something that Willie Horn did not like that he was seeing. It was play clock was getting down, but that's not why that timeout was called, I don't think.
Well, do you think we're going to have a 20-minute half?
Isn't that the rule now?
Is it?
I don't know. It sure seems like it.
I know it does.
When was the last time we didn't have one?
I know.
It is senior night, although they did all the senior stuff before the game.
Oh.
I don't know. So this is a pretty big 3rd down here. You hate to put, big importance on plays in the, 8 minutes left to go in the second quarter or whatever, but if you're the Titans, you really don't want to go 3 and out and kick the ball back.
You got to give your defense.
Well, that's
time.
what I mean. Right now, the defense, there was one drive that they gave up large chunks of yardage and ended up giving up points, but other than that, they have been relatively stout. But that will not last forever. We've seen that in other games where, eventually the Titans get worn down. So if they can convert here, that would be big. Wolverton will toss it. Sims, and he will get tackled for about no gain on the play, maybe a half a yard, and set up a 4th down in a punting situation. That's a tough call there.
That is.
The thing about Tavion is, of course, he's got so much speed, and you hope that if you can get him out in space, he'd be able to do something with him. But the minute that doesn't happen, he's not going to break anywhere near the kind of tackles that really any of the other running backs would, whether it's Mayo, Torrey, or whomever. Mayo's punt bounces around midfield, takes a Bronco bounce, and is down at the 49 of the Titans. 7:34 left to go, second quarter. Broncos on top, 7-0. They'll have the short field this time, as at least for the moment they seem to be winning the field position game. And that's, again, what we were talking about, is that you're putting them at midfield, you're putting a tired defensive crew out there, and you don't really like that. That's another side effect to all of the penalties. They've been good for the Titans, and they're all on the Broncos, but they're also keeping their defense out there for more plays. So, like, even on that 3 and out, where it was a 7-play 3 and out, you still have to defend all those plays, even if they eventually come back. So they go with an empty backfield here, stacked up formation, throwing down the middle. Leonard, he's got a man open, wide open. It is caught down the middle of the field and inside the 30 near the 22, as that was a well-run route. And the tight end, Coetzee, makes the catch. 1st and 10 for the Broncos from the Titan 22. A good first play from scrimmage on this drive.
Yes, it was.
Just a straight seam route for the tight end, and nobody really picked him up.
No, and it looked like the Titans were running a cover 2, and he just split the seam there.
That is one of the dangers. Pistol formation, back to throw Leonard with plenty of time. Now he'll step up and toss it over the middle, wide open player who makes the catch, and then he gets up to run, but you don't get to do that.
No, you don't.
In high school football, and it will be 1st down. Winston on the catch. And it should be 1st and goal for the Broncos from the 10-yard line. So Leonard with all day to throw the ball there. And he eventually stepped up, but
he did a great job.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he stepped up, he brought some linebackers out of coverage.
Twins on either side on 1st and goal. The read option, he'll keep it himself, Leonard, right up the middle. And he stopped as he gets inside the 10 around the 7. 2nd and goal from there. Clock running with 6:22 left to go in the half. Got an injured player, it looks like. Injured Titan. And I don't know for a fact, but I do believe it's Kirkpatrick. So they will come out and attend. Willie Horn out there as well, checking on his player.
Steve Taylor being the athletic trainer tonight.
Can't really tell based on his body language what might be hurting him. Knee maybe.
Yeah, he's going to the
Ankle.
left ankle.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's what he's looking at the moment. So Coach Horn right there looking over as he's being intended to. That's got to have been a tough thing for a coach to sort of weigh between, do I go out and get with my injured player or do I stick with the team? You know?
Right.
And it is Kirkpatrick. And I would definitely say a leg injury, lower body injury, probably the left ankle. So they will help him off, very slowly coming toward the sideline. Waiting to put the ball in play till after he gets off the field. And here we go, second down and goal, ball on a 7-yard line, pistol formation. And Leonard give to Howes, and he gets inside the 5. Tackled as he got near the 2. It'll be third down and goal. Huffman over there a little slow to get up as well. And he'll walk it off, it looks like, on this third and goal play. Clock running with 5:42 and counting here in the first half. Broncos up 7-0, threatening here, third and goal from the 2. Twins on the right, pistol formation. Leonard, and gives it to Howes up the middle, touchdown. Went over left tackle.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean that somewhat literally. He went over left tackle and into the end zone practically untouched. 13-0 extra point on the way. 5:27 left to go here, first half. Think they should have gone for it?
Yeah.
Barnhill for the extra point. Snap back, ball down, kick up, high, long, and it is good. 5:27 to go, first half. The Broncos have struck again. 14-0 our score. We'll take a break, come back with a kickoff after this on Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com. Well, back live here at Titan Stadium. Joel Becker, Coach Royce Boehm, Lee Summit West and Lee Summit North. Broncos leading the Titans 14-0. with about 5.5 minutes left to go in the first half of play. Both of their scoring drives looked awfully similar, didn't they?
Oh, very, very similar.
Both capped off by a relatively short run into the end zone. Titans come out to receive this kickoff. And this time it'll go high and deep, and it will come down and is fumbled at about the 2. Picked up, though, and Tavion Sims gets around the 15 and does manage to get to the 20. There's a flag that comes out at the very end. Tackled from behind, pushed forward around the 22, but we'll check on the flag. Where the flag was is actually more in face mask territory than holding or illegal blocking territory, but we'll see. And it is going to be a face mask against the Broncos, the 5-yard variety. So that's interesting because he was clearly up and around the 22, but they only gave him about the 20 for the penalty. That's not a spot of the foul penalty. That's the end of the run penalty, or it's supposed to be. But at any rate, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Titans from their own 25. Again, not really able to move the ball especially well on offense. They show blitz coming after Wolverton, throws it. It is caught. Miller, and not sure if he had his knee down when he caught it. I think that's what they're going to rule, because it sounded to me like the whistle blew before he actually was down. They did give him to the 29. So it'll be a pickup of 4, 2nd and 6. First catch of the game for Derek Miller, who was busy last week, but only targeted a couple times so far.
Looks like the white hat sent him off the field because his knees were not covered.
Huh. That a fashion thing?
Well,
looks like the Titan are going to call timeout with 4:43 left to go. That's their second. They'll have 1 remaining. I don't know if it was just because of confusion on the play coming in or what. So what's the difference between last week and this week as far as the Titans offensively? Because obviously they were able to move the ball last week against Ray-Pac.
they were.
I mean, is it just that the Broncos are that much better?
Well, I don't know that.
I get the impression that they're just, I mean, like you said at the beginning of the game, you never know which Titan team's going to show up.
Right, exactly. And that's what we ask each other, which
And
one's going to show up.
Well, I mean, again, yeah. I mean,
and you know what? Talking to some of the coaches right before the game, they're wondering the same thing, too.
How could they not? 2nd down and 6 after the timeout. They come out with a shotgun formation, and Quincy Torrey gets the call off right tackle and pushes forward up near a first down to about the 34. It'll be a yard shy. It'll set up a 3rd down and 1. Looks like Titans are going to bring their jumbo package in here for this. Try and hurry. A lot of big guys on the field for this. Direct snap comes to Quincy Torrey, and he needed the 35, and he should have gotten it. Just past the 35. And 1st and 10 Titans. Didn't get a whole lot more, but doesn't matter.
Nope.
That's all you need. 4:15 left to go here in the second quarter of play. Titans down by a pair of scores, 14-0. Would like to get something going at the end of the half here. And on the option, a toss to Quincy Torrey, who tries to get around the right side, gets to the line of scrimmage, but very little more. It'll set up a 2nd down and long, maybe 2nd and 10, no gain on the play. Now you do, of course, remember Blue Spring South. They were kind of in this situation, were able to make a drive on this last drive of the half and go to the locker room a lot closer.
And that was just a 10-7 game too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was at the time. It was 10-0, but yeah. So 2nd down and 10. Wolverton back to throw. He'll throw. He had a man over the middle, and it's incomplete. Should have been intercepted.
Yeah, defender just timed that.
And interestingly, it was intended for Sims, and it was underthrown, and it also took way too long to get there. And the thing about that, though, is I'm assuming you saw Derek Miller over the middle was absolutely wide open.
Yes.
And, easier throw there would have gotten him past where Sims was anyway, because nobody could have gotten to him by the time he got there. But
well, and then it makes you wonder, is that a design pass play?
Yeah.
Was it supposed to go to him and only him?
I imagine at least he was his first choice anyway. Trips on the left here on 3rd down and 10. Wolverton rolls that way, puts it up, and it is caught but out of bounds by Miller. Would have been enough for a first down possibly, but it's 4th down, and Titans presumably will punt. With 3:05 left to go in the half, punting on 4th and 10 from their own 36.
And once again, there should have been a penalty on that one, roughing the passer. He took him down pretty.
Full weight?
Yes.
I don't know if that's a rule in high school. High snap, but Mayo will step into it. There is a flag down.
I think we got movement.
Yeah, great punt, and Howes fumbled it, and then he gets hit, fumbled the football. The Titans have it.
That's not going to matter.
And inside the 5, down to about the 3, and it's all going to come back.
Yep.
Due to an illegal motion penalty. And we haven't seen it. That's not for sure, but that's what I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And what's stupid, again, like what we said, is that is for all intents and purposes the exact same penalty they didn't call on the Broncos when the Broncos set up their first touchdown. Now they are figuring this out for sure. Maybe we'll be lucky and it'll be something else. Don't hold your breath.
It's coming back.
Well, certainly everybody's walking that direction. Illegal formation is the call, or illegal procedure. Wasn't a false start, but same signal, and so they're going to have to do it again. Boy, what a huge momentum change that is.
Sure was.
David Meadows had a day punting the football, and that was a really good punt too. And we didn't really talk about this that much in pregame, but really playing the Broncos, you had to figure that's what the Titans were going to need. As he'll step into it again, this is not nearly as good a punt. No. It does take a Titan bounce and get inside the 40, to about the 38 maybe. But instead of having the ball 1st and 10 on the other team's 3, the Broncos have the ball on their own 38. That is a pretty good swing.
Yeah.
That's an expensive penalty.
Yes, it is.
And like I said, what's ridiculous about it is, for all intents and purposes, the same penalty they did not call on the Broncos on the run that set up their first touchdown. So, but I mean, to be fair, it was a penalty. Don't get me wrong. It's just that so was the other one.
Right.
But at any rate, so we'll see here. 2:33 left to go in the half, if the Broncos are going to be aggressive or not. Back to throw is Ford. He's looking, throwing, downfield. He's got a man in single coverage, and incomplete. It did hit the hands of the receiver, but he couldn't hang on to it. Good coverage over there by Jackson Torrey, who was stride for stride with Mosey. And I tell you what, as an official, I don't know if this really makes any difference to them or not, but whenever I'm an official, I don't officiate football, but in other sports, when a guy pops up like that and calling for a flag, even if I was in a gray area, I'd almost not throw it just for that reason.
Exactly.
I do that in hockey when somebody, is. I don't not call penalties I see just because.
Right.
But if somebody is begging for it, and it's a gray situation, big run, Baker, up to midfield, will move the chains. after a pickup of about 12. 1st and 10 for the Broncos at the Titan 49. But yeah, if it's one of those things where it's kind of gray area or whatever, and he's begging for a penalty, it's like, you know what, play the game.
Play it.
So 1st and 10, pistol formation, Twins on the right. Back to throw is Ford with time, throwing, and he's got a man, Mosey. Makes the catch, hit by Randolph. Trying to wrestle the ball away from him are the Titans, but he hangs on to it, and it'll be 1st and 10 at the Titan 37. Clock is stopped with 1:51, and now running again after they reset the chains. So Broncos need not be in any kind of a hurry. They do have 2 of their 3 timeouts left if they choose to use them. Ford would seem to be their throwing quarterback. And back to throw again. He'll roll to the right side, and he is hit and stays in bounds, as stepping up on the play to make the hit was Haynes. And it'll be 2nd down and 10 after no gain. And I mean, I realize that was a quarterback hit there, but that, the thing that really stands out to me, especially on this drive when they've been throwing the football, is the complete lack of pressure.
Right.
But that's been the case all game long so far.
It has been.
2nd and 10 from the pistol Ford. Now they come after him, throws over the middle, incomplete. They finally blitzed a linebacker, Fredrickson. He was a little late getting there, and then there's a flag late. The tight end, Coetzee, I think it may be unsportsmanlike conduct just for being upset. No, they're calling it a hold. No, personal foul. Okay, I thought for a second he gave the holding signal, but at first I wasn't sure if it was one of those defenseless player type penalties.
Right.
But I think it's something that happened after the play. And so that'll cost them 15 yards and probably take them out of a situation where they might have thought about going for a field goal or pushing toward the end zone. So 3rd down and 25.
I'd take a shot at it.
Sure. Titans will get the football to start the second half. Well, see if they try and bring pressure or not. Titans seem a little confused on the coverage. And back to throw is Ford, rolling to his left, and he gets hit, but he lets it go at the last second. It is a 50-50 ball and comes down incomplete. Intended for Lindsey, the other tight end, and they were able to at least wrestle it out of his hands, and it'll be 4th down. That was a little Mahomes-esque there for Ford,
It was.
managing to elude the sack and at least get rid of the ball.
Right.
Not sure how smart of a choice it was in terms of where he threw it. But even if it had,
Right.
So we'll see. Punting situation here. And Leonard did get the kick off. And it's going to go into the end zone for a touchback. That is one of those dangers about having your quarterback, as the punter and having that short snap, is it gives the other team the opportunity to, go after the punter, and they don't have quite as far to go.
Exactly.
Didn't quite get there. So if you're the Titans, 34 seconds, 34.9, so 35 seconds left to go. When you just run the ball a couple of times?
I would run it a couple times. Get to halftime. Going to the halftime, 14-0. That's not a bad situation.
And you get the ball to start the second half. The one thing you don't want to do is, give it to your quarterback and throw some sort of high-risk pass that gives the Broncos the ball and the opportunity to add some more points here.
Right.
So they give it to Mayo, and he is met immediately. Knocked down for a loss of about 4. Bronco player a little bit slow in getting up, and that was their 3-tech man. Nwaneri. But he seems to be okay. And the Titans will let the play clock expire, and we will go to halftime. 14-0. So it's, for the most part, all Lee Summit North. At least it is on the scoreboard. Titans, allowed the 2 touchdowns, played okay defensively, but could never really get on track on the offensive side of things.
Right, exactly.
So we'll take a break, have some second quarter scores. Check the scoreboard.
Oh my gosh, what is the 20 minutes?
I just had to see the reaction and to make sure everybody else could hear it too.
Why? I'm sorry. I'm going to.
Okay, an extended halftime coming up right here from Titan Stadium. Titans trail at 14-0 here on Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Back Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
810 Varsity takes you through the football season like never before. Watch games live throughout Kansas and Missouri, and even postseason action at 810varsity.com. Plus live tournament brackets, top 25, Elite 81 All-Metro team, live scoreboard, stories, and more. Check out Kansas City's new home for high school sports coverage, 810varsity.com. Tired of over-the-hill softball leagues? Want some real action on the diamond? The Kansas City Men's Senior Baseball League offers a number of different options for today's amateur recreational athletes, no matter what your age or ability. For more information, call the Kansas City Men's Senior Baseball League at 913-649-2942 or visit their website at www.kcmsbl.com. Umpires for the league are also in demand. That number again is 913-649-2942.
All right, I got a message for you. Radio is the way to go if you want to advertise. Targeting your customers, any shape or size. Radio is a perfect way to tell them who and where you are. They listen at work, they listen at home, and you got them in that car. You've got to go with radio when you want to advertise. Here we go. Watch me now. Hard rock and soft rock and easy listening too. Up and down the dialer formats just for you. Country, classic, talk, and gospel stations. Every market across the land has got a station for your situation. The cost is low, and radio is theater of the mind. You can present your information with imagination. If you want to get your message across the airways with radio. Call them. They will come right over. Remember, you got to go with radio when you want to advertise. There are lots of stations just your size.
Are you looking for a heartwarming and unique gift? Consider master storyteller David Lewis's Memories CD collection. Warm memories of the cold. 9 of David's best memories of sleds, snow, grandpa on ice, 34 degrees below, skates, and Christmas. Hooves, paws, wings, and claws. 13 recollections of cats, horses, dogs, birds, a misguided vet, and a bobcat that stuck to the wall. Just folks. 13 memories of the witch in the woods and other captivating people, gone but not forgotten. And you had to be there. 14 heartwarming tales like Fantasy on the Porch, An Ox Out of His Box, A Foot Fetish Catfish, and more. Recollecting times, places, people, and events in David's life you simply have to hear for yourself. David's CDs are available online at memoriescds.com. You can hear audio clips at the website. That's memoriescds.com. Why not buy the gift that can be enjoyed over and over? David Lewis's Memories CD collection, a touch of the heartland for your family.
Welcome back out to Titan Stadium. Joel Becker along with Coach Royce Boehm as the Lee Summit West Titans and Lee Summit North Broncos battling for Lee Summit. Titans trailing the Broncos 14-0, but we are at halftime, so we'll have an opportunity to let you hear the Lee Summit West marching band right here at halftime, and come back with some halftime numbers after they perform right here on Titan Football.
When I find home, my heart will be the first to know. When I find home, I'll no longer be scared, but finally feel safe. When I find home, I'll know it, and it will know me.
Drum majors Annie Cernit, Anthony Clote, and Matty Stidham. Is your band ready? Your band may take the field in performance.
sight. We've got home in sight. We'll be calling all communications. We've got home in sight. We'll see you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the Titan Pride Marching Band.
Well, there you go, the Titan Pride Marching Band right here at Titan Stadium. We are at halftime, 14-0 our score. We've got the Broncos and the Titans with Lee Summit North on top. We'll take a quick break and come back with some halftime numbers with Coach Royce Bain when we come back here on Titan Football. A presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
High school sports fans, Trent Green here, and when I want the latest scores and news, there's only one place I go, 810varsity.com. Live scores, features, brackets, and even watch games live on the laptop, phone, or mobile device. Watch the Lee Summit, Blue Springs, and Park Hill schools, Blue Valleys, Olathes, Rockhurst, Miege, Lansing. The list goes on into Missouri and Kansas. And playoff broadcasts too, plus top 25, awards, and more. Check it out now, Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com.
Welcome back out to Titan Stadium. We are at halftime. Joel Becker along with Coach Royce Bain as the Titans taking on the Broncos from Lee Summit North, trailing 14-0 at halftime. And as promised, Coach has some halftime numbers for you.
Well, I tell you what, we're sitting here at halftime, 14-0. Okay, and you and I are going through the first half, going, what's different with this team this week than it was last week, where
you can't throw the ball,
where we threw the ball and we ran the ball. We had close to 400 yards total offense.
Yeah. And
tonight, it's a little different.
Yeah.
Total offense for Lee Summit North, 199. For Lee Summit West, 63.
And how much of that is in the air?
In the air for Lee Summit West, 25.
And how much of that came on one play that Tavion Sims caught earlier in the game?
Exactly. Passing for Lee Summit North is 64. Rushing yards, 135 for Lee Summit North.
So they have double the rushing yards as we have yards.
And we only have 38 yards.
I mean, but total yards.
Oh, yeah.
We were at 60 something.
Absolutely.
So we're less than half of what they have in just rushing yards.
Uh-huh. And penalties.
We're winning that battle. I'll at least say that.
Well, yeah, we are. Lee Summit North has 7 penalties for 75 yards. Lee Summit West has no penalties.
See? And you were complaining about this crew.
Yeah. I know. Time of possession's pretty equal. 12:06 for Lee Summit North. 11:13. I mean, just barely over a minute. But first downs, 11 for North and 4 for Lee Summit West. And so we're seeing a different team tonight, Joel. It's not that. But again, no, is it what took place prior to the game? They had to come out an hour early, go through their warm-up, and again, this is Coach Horn. I mean, and he wanted his team to be on the sideline to see and recognize his seniors.
The senior night presentation.
And
which
so,
was before the game.
Which was right before the game.
Now, when you were coaching, they used to always do that at halftime, didn't they?
No, we always did it before the game.
Was it before?
But Debbie Katzby, what she would do, she would split it up, and she would have, because tonight you saw golf,
right?
You saw dance, you saw cheerleading, and then you saw football. So you had 4 different categories there that were being recognized tonight. And so they didn't put the football players up front so that they could go leave the field and go warm up anymore.
Why would they why wouldn't the other sports recognize? I mean, I realize, like cheerleading, that's something.
But it's always been recognized at football games.
Yeah.
The other sports have always been recognized. But with
because of the crowds, I
Debbie
guess?
Katzby, she did it. She broke it up between the 5 home games.
Yeah. I mean, I always just, most sports just do that on their last home game of whatever sport it is.
Right. So, I don't know. Did that throw the team off that they stood on the sideline after warming up for 30-plus minutes? We don't know, but we can only assume of things like that. Joe, you have any scores there?
That's what I was looking up to check on. Halftime scores from around the city, and I do. But yeah, I mean, some of it was some of it was probably the change in structure, because as you well know, football, game day structure makes a big difference, and it just, when you're off of what you're doing, that's what, to me, they just have looked off all game.
Yes.
Their running game has been okay. That's the simpler run. It tends to be a little simpler to run a running play than to run a passing play, and so their running game seems to be ahead of their passing game. But it's a little bit just off. They're just not quite in sync, and that could be from that. It also could just be that Lee Summit North is a tough team to play against. We talked about how big some of their defensive linemen are.
Yeah, But I just Phillip Brooks plays for K-State now. Him and his dad I just ran into at halftime, and we're talking about, as talented as Lee Summit North is, as far as physical offensive linemen and raw talent at the core positions, they're not as good as what we thought they were. Only being 14-0 here. I mean, but that's the way it's been all year for them.
Well, we talked about this too. That they have the big line, but at the same time, where have all the big holes come today? Right up the middle.
Right.
And so our offensive line is obviously capable of
moving.
Yeah. So you asked for the scores. Belton and Raytown are tied at 14, just starting the second half there. Battle of Blue Springs South. South is up, but 16-14 is the score. And I don't know if that's because they scored a couple touchdowns and 2-point conversions because of some issue with their kicker, or if it's because they got a safety at some point in the game. But That's roughly a halftime score. There's a couple seconds left to go in the second quarter. Let's see other Missouri scores. St. Joe, Benton, and Cameron, 14-13 Cameron. In that game, at halftime, Capital City 28-0 over Truman. Ray South, Excelsior Springs. Excelsior Springs up 14-7. Fordo and North Kansas City. Hornets and Indians are knotted up at 7 in that game. That's the second quarter score. Kearney all over Grandview, 41-6. That's a second quarter score as well. The Lawrence Free State score that I keeping an eye on is all knotted up at 14. Our score here, of course, 14-0. Liberty and Lee Summit. Liberty is on top, but it's 24-21 at halftime. So
Man, Mark was just ragging on you.
Was he?
Yeah, he said we should have 3 quarters just like hockey has.
They're called periods.
Periods, Mark.
In hockey, they're periods, not quarters. In hockey, they're periods, not quarters. Okay. See.
Oh. You said quarters.
The football coach would have heard quarters. Yeah. How about this? Liberty North, Ray-Pec, 17-7 for the Eagles at halftime.
Wow.
Which, you expect them to win, but Ray-Pec's keeping it in. Let's see. Got an update on the Boonville score, by the way?
You know what? Let's see. I think I had a...
Staley and Park Hill are tied up at 20.
14-13 halftime. Boonville's up.
Oh, but they lost. I mean, they're down to a 1-point lead.
I know it.
So how about that?
Did you see the Hawklets?
Rockers score?
Yeah.
I haven't got to it yet. Oh, yes.
14-14.
Rockers and SLU. St. Louis University High School. Park Hill South, 28-15 over Platte County. And let's see. It's getting to be near the end of it. And which is a good thing because we're about at halftime. So about done with halftime. We'll take a quick break and be back with the second half kickoff. Titans will get the football trailing 14-0 right here on, excuse me, Titan football presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions and 810varsity.com. Welcome back out to Titan Stadium. Joel Becker and Coach Royce Boehm. Lee Summit West, Lee Summit North. Titans trailing the Broncos 14-0 as we get started here in the second half of play. The Titans won the toss and deferred, so they will get the ball here to start things off. And a squib kick down the middle is taken by an up man right about the 25 up to the 35, across the 35 to the 38. Huffman on the return once again. And the Titans will start with pretty good field position to get things going in the second half of play.
So, Joel, it is now a Misha rule.
20-minute halftime.
20-minute half times.
For the whole state.
For the whole state. And you know why?
Because of...
some band instructors complained that they didn't have enough time during the halftime to do the performance.
I think so.
Huh.
And that made it the rule for the whole state. They couldn't have let each school decide that on their own.
Right.
I guess. Okay.
At least that's what I was just told. So
well, that's what we heard. 1st and 10 Titans from their own 38-yard line. And the give to Mayo, bounces off a one tackle and gets positive yards. It was a good job because there was a man in his face right as soon as he got the football, and he managed to spin off the tackle and gain a yard or two. Let's call it 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8. So, David Mayo had some pretty good running the first, series that we had the ball, and they've kind of gone away from him a lot. But, again, like we talked about, they need to be able to open up those holes. We'll see what happens here on 2nd and 8. Back to throw Wolverton, and he throws for Miller, and they say he trapped it, no catch. And it will be 3rd down and 8. And, you know, that is a big difference. Derek Miller was the big target. I don't know how many times Wolverton went to him, but he was clearly his favorite target last week, and they haven't been in sync this game. We talked about earlier he was wide open, and Wolverton missed him on a play. That time it was just not the best throw.
No, it wasn't a very good throw there.
Early in the game, he had a couple of balls blocked at the line of scrimmage that he tried to throw.
Yeah, he keeps pulling at his knee pads, too, to try to make sure they stay low.
So 3rd down and 8. Wolverton back to throw over the middle, and it is intercepted. Picked off by the Broncos. And that was Liam Kays on the pick. And he threw it right to him.
Did.
I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Because the Titan receiver was standing behind the guy that intercepted.
The wind could have been a factor. That is, one thing. But I don't know.
I guess he is thrown into it.
Yeah. And I thought it was kind of odd because when they did that opening kickoff, he kind of squibbed it. And I thought with the wind at his back, he would kick it deeper, but he didn't. But the Titans do have the wind in their face here. And that may have had an effect. It may not have. I don't know. So the Broncos take over on the turnover. 44-yard line. It's Leonard on the keeper on the zone read. And he'll pick up about 4 near the 40-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Broncos were kept off the scoreboard for the first quarter and kind of toward the end of the first quarter got on track and have been able to move the ball pretty easily since then. Back to throw Leonard. He looks left side. Now he's being chased, throws the ball, and it is incomplete. They're not calling it down. No. I thought for a minute they might have called him in the grass, but no. It's not really a high school rule.
I don't think so.
No. So 3rd down and 6. Broncos go hurry up here. Man in motion. Leonard rolls to the right side. He's looking to throw. Now he's getting rushed and able to elude a couple of guys. Will throw at the very end, incomplete. And I don't know exactly what it is. It'll be 4th down, and I don't know. They may be in 4-down territory here, even with the 2-touchdown lead, because the ball's on the Titan 41-yard line. They need the 34, so it's really 4th and 5. They're bringing the punting unit in, it seems like. But like I said, one thing I've wondered with Leonard as the quarterback, how often they have gone ahead and run an offensive play out of this formation. They're in a regular offensive pistol formation right now. And they will, but they switch positions, but he hasn't stepped back. So they could throw out of this, and now they're actually going to take the timeout, I believe. Nope, they're calling it, well, they're calling it a false start.
Oh.
So I don't know if somebody, he's definitely calling it a false start, not delay of game.
Yeah, because I was looking at the clock, and it went down to 0.
It could just be that he's giving the wrong signal, but you
knows?
hope not. But now, obviously, a much more likely punt on 4th and 11, and he will step into it. High kick, and Huffman will let it bounce into the end zone. Actually landed in the end zone. And a touchback for the Titans. That's a play that you do on 14-0. When you're the Broncos and you're in control of the game, why take the chance?
Right.
Your defense has been held. Their offense gained all of 60 yards in the first half. Why would you give them a shorter field? So already the second shot at it on offense for the Titans here in the second half. They went 3 and out the first time on a couple of incomplete passes after a couple-yard David Mayo run. We'll see what they do here as they have a man in motion, and they give it to Mayo trying to follow the blocking. He does get a big hole and will get a first down across the 30. Upset with himself because he knew if he could break that one last tackle, he would have had a lot further to go. But it was still a pickup of 12. And do we got a flag? Yep. This one's coming back. They're calling it an illegal shift on the Titans. So I didn't see that one, actually.
I didn't either.
Illegal shift normally means that you have either two people in motion at the same time when the ball is snapped, or that do not come set before the ball is snapped.
Right.
It can also be called on the play that we were talking about where the guy starts moving toward the line before the ball snapped. I didn't see any of that.
I didn't either.
Quincy Torrey in motion. They give it to Mayo. And instead of a 12-yard gain, he gets about 4 on 1st and 15. It'll set up a 2nd and 11 from there. That's the other thing, by the way. We were talking about what's the difference between last week's Titan offense and Titan team in general and this week's. Because we are not getting any breaks today.
No.
We had a punt turnover that was taken away from us because of a penalty. We had a 30-some-odd yard run that probably shouldn't have counted because they were guilty of a penalty that wasn't called, and so on. And now we're going to get movement, I believe, on the timeout on the Titans. So 9:16 left to go. This is one of those situations that I was talking about burning a timeout early in a second half situation where, which is worse, burning a timeout and only having 2, or having a from 2nd and 12 to 2nd and 17. I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's a tough one. I mean, so anyway, like I said, this game compared to last week, they're just not getting any bounces or any help or anything like that. I mean, there have been a couple of breaks that have gone their way that were somewhat self-inflicted. For example, when Huffman decided to play the punt that had gone over his head, at least we didn't lose that one.
No kidding.
But at the same time, we also haven't gotten any breaks, so we haven't. There's
not at all.
The only turnover in the game was
we have
theirs.
We have a special teams. We don't have enough people out on the field. He's late getting on the field.
I mean, even the literal first play of the game was an onside kick that should have been successful. That was less than a half a yard from being successful. Wolverton rolling to the right side on play action, throwing, and it is incomplete. He underthrew his intended target, and it was caught but trapped by Tavion Sims, and it'll be 3rd down and 12. So David Mayo's got some sort of a helmet issue, so he'll come off, and Jackson Torrey comes in. .15 seconds left on the play clock. And they'll head up to the line on 3rd down and 12. Wolverton, quick throw on the slant pass, and it is caught and then dropped. And they're calling this a fumble, and it's recovered by the Broncos. There's a flag down. This was an incomplete pass, by the way. At least based on what we've been taught is and the flag, I believe, came down after the change of possession, by the way. But it shouldn't have been a change of possession. That should have been an incomplete pass. Holding against the Broncos. But it is going to stay Broncos ball. They're just going to get 10 extra yards.
So they're saying his downfield momentum.
Yeah, he never had possession of that ball. I don't see how that is considered to be a catch and a fumble. Again, based on what we've been taught is the assessment of what is a catch and what isn't. You have to have possession of it and then, make a football move before you lose it. And he never had it. Nobody knocked that out of his. That wasn't a strip or anything like that. He just dropped it. And I don't think he ever had it.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. But that's not what the ruling is on the field. So Broncos take over 1st and 10 after the penalty from the Titan 23. Back to throw Ford, and he's got a man. It is caught. Mosey inside the 15 down to about the 13. Made a good catch. It'll be a pickup of close to 10. I think he might be a half a yard shy, so it'll be 2nd and short. Clock running with it. 8:35 left to go in the 3rd quarter. So that, again, just goes to show what I was talking about before, is we're just not getting any pounds, any calls, any breaks today at all. It has not gone the Titans' way. From the pistol, and Baker up the middle, big hole, gets inside the 5, down to about the 3, first and goal for the Titans. I'm sorry, for the Broncos.
Yeah, I tell you, the defense is just really starting to wear down.
Well, that's what we talked about.
Yeah.
When your offense is not getting any sustained drives. And I literally cannot think of one drive that we've had that has gone more than about a couple of first downs.
Right.
Quite a few 3s and outs, and then maybe once or twice where they've had they managed to get a first down or 2. Up the middle, Baker got inside the 2, but they did stop him. Pretty good stick on the play. And it'll be second down and goal. Just looking around, I do not believe Kirkpatrick ever came back in the game.
No, I tell you, I'm not for sure. Because he was sitting down there on the
well, the injury
big old bag of ice.
Yeah, the injury it looked like he had didn't look like the sort you'd finish the game with. Pistol formation, Ford in at quarterback, Baker behind him. And they'll give it to Baker again, up the middle, and touchdown. Didn't get too far in, but enough to break the plane. And the Broncos now have a 3-score lead, 20-0, with the extra point to come. So, like we said before, this is the sort of game you know going in that this is the second-ranked team in the city, and you're going to need a good effort, obviously, to win. But the other thing you're really going to need is a little luck.
Yeah.
Usually you need a turnover or 2 in a game like this, and we've had a turnover or 2. Unfortunately, they've been our turnovers and not theirs, and that's how you end up 21-0. Which is where we are right now. 7:04 left to go in the third quarter of play. Broncos capitalizing on what actually was ruled anyway, a catch and a fumble by the Titans. They use their short field to add on another 7 points. 21-0 our score. This is Titan Football, a presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
810 Varsity takes you through the football season like never before. Watch games live throughout Kansas and Missouri, and even postseason action at 810varsity.com. Plus live tournament brackets, top 25, Elite 81 All-Metro team, live scoreboard, stories, and more. Check out Kansas City's new home for high school sports coverage. 810varsity.com.
Welcome back out to Titan Stadium. Joel Becker, Coach Royce Bain, Lee Summit West and Lee Summit North. Broncos on top of the Titans, 21-0. 7:04 left to go, third quarter. Sims goes back deep, and they do kick it deep. Jackson Torrey will field it at about the 6-yard line. Coming up the left hash mark, and he's hit as he gets to the 25, 26-yard line. Titans will take over from there. As they tried to catch the Titans.
They did. Running
coming
on
out
the field.
Well, and that's the thing. They took too long to get out there.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't, anything that the Broncos did. The Titans just didn't get out there in time and almost paid for it. They gave him the 27 on the return, so 1st and 10. So we were talking earlier as a man in motion and a give, trying to go up the middle. And Quincy Torrey gets maybe a yard, 2nd down and 9. We were talking earlier about the idea that, these last 2 games are probably the 2 toughest of the season that the Titans are going to see. And that can't, has its positives and negatives. You hate going into the playoffs on a 3-game losing streak, which is what you would assume is going to happen after Ray-Peck and then these 2 games tonight and next week. 2nd down, Wolverton throwing. It was tipped, but it was caught. Halterman, and he gets up to about the 35. He'll be a couple yards shy of a 1st down. Probably about the best pass of the game we've seen, and that might have actually been tipped on the way.
And it still looks like we might be heading to Joplin. Is that right?
Actually, they're saying Kickapoo's a pretty good chance right now that after this week's game, after Joplin loses to Carthage, and I haven't looked to see if that's going to happen, but it's a pretty good bet that Kickapoo may actually catch up to Joplin as we get movement. Oh, an offsides call against the Broncos, so that'll give the Titans a first down. So, again, we're assuming that the Titans will eventually end up in the 6th seed because of the weirdo Misha rules that allows us to jump. We're very likely going to jump ahead of a team that'll be either 5-4 or 4-5, more than likely 4-5. But especially if they were, we would still do it if they were 5-4. And Tavion Sims trying to get the corner.
Ooh,
looked like a horse collar. I don't see a flag.
Yep,
there it is. At the very end. That is got. I haven't counted that. Maybe Mark has, but if it is in fact, and there's another flag, and that might be on a coach of the Titans for complaining about it. Now that's just a sideline warning. But the original infraction, if it is a horse collar tackle, which will add another 15 yards, or they call it a face mask. But regardless, that has got to be about the 5th personal foul on the Broncos today. Am I right? 5? Yeah.
And I think
that's a lot for one game.
I think that flag was on Chris Barrows.
For yelling?
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't think he liked the tackle very much.
No. But I think he's seeing what we're seeing, all the personal fouls.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that's an awful lot for one game.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, 1st and 10 after the penalty at the 43-yard line of the Broncos. And we get whistles again. And it's a false start on the Titans. They went a little early. So, anyway, so getting back to the that we were talking about with our seeding situation, even if Lee Summit would have ended up 5-4, and I don't think they're going to. I think they'll end up 4-5. But even if they were 5-4, we would still flip ahead of them at 2-7. We'd have a 2-7 team seeded higher than a 5-4 team. How ridiculous
that is
that?
It's unreal.
I don't get that rule.
Don't understand the system.
The rule makes sense if the teams have the same record.
Right.
Option toss sweep here to Quincy Torrey, and he gets around the edge, does a good job, just enough, and we'll get about a 7 or 8 yard gain on the play. Got the yardage back. Call it 8 yards up to the 40. It'll be 2nd down and about 7 from there. So at any rate, like I said, because of that, we will most likely be the 6th seed. And here's Torrey again going up the middle on the cut. He'll get positive yards, but it'll still be a 3rd and long, 3rd and about 5 from the 38. So if we're the 6th seed, we will play the 3 in an 8-team bracket.
And Kickapoo might jump Joplin.
Yeah. That's what we're being told.
Okay.
I don't know. I looked at it, and it depends. It has to do with those, points system, because the thing is, Joplin, like I said, they're probably going to lose to Carthage tonight. And then both teams will most likely win next week. And it is a direct snap. Mayo decides to run with it on the read option, but he's going to be shy of a first down. I imagine the Titans will go for it here.
I would say it'd be
on the 35-yard line.
Be a good bet.
4th down and 2. So anyway, yeah. So there are a few possibilities. Assuming the Broncos win tonight, I don't believe can finish any lower than 2. So it would only be Joplin, Kickapoo, or Ray-Peck, although Ray-Peck won't be a possibility as they go jumbo. Quincy, I think he's short. Quincy Torrey, and he needed to get to the 33, and he got past the 34, but I do not believe he got all the way to the 33. We'll see where they put the ball down. They're eyeballing it now. They're going to measure. I thought he was short.
Yeah, he looked like it.
But at any rate, so while they measure, again, going into this week, it could have been Ray Peck, Kickapoo, Joplin, or Lee Summit North that we could have conceivably played. But
So who's number one?
well, number one is Nixa in our
Okay,
and
Nixa.
that will still be the case, and he was short. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Broncos. So Nixa's going to finish as the number one seed. I think, if Nixa somehow managed to lose to somebody, Lee Summit North could finish one, but that's not going to happen.
No.
And again,
they couldn't see that.
Yeah, I know.
By an eyeball.
I did.
I did.
From
we're
up
up here.
So, at any rate,
God, you know what? Sometimes it's all about the officials.
well, yeah, I don't think that you can say that about this game, but it's it's not that they haven't had an effect. You still need to execute at least something on your own from time to time, as this will be the end around, and we get a flag. Once again, that was Hines, and the Broncos guilty of a hold. So we'll get another first down play, 1st and 20. So Lee Summit North is most likely going to finish 2nd seed, and then Joplin went into this week in the 3 spot, and then there was Kickapoo, and then there was Ray Peck. Ray Peck's going to lose tonight. They're playing Liberty North, and so most likely they're going to end up, they're losing now, and they most likely will lose. And once that happens, they're not going to be able to get to the 3 seed anymore. And so the only possibilities would be Kickapoo and Joplin, because Joplin's going to lose tonight to Carthage. I haven't checked that score. They may not, but Carthage is a very good team.
Yes, they are.
So back to throw. And Leonard will keep it himself, get across the 30 to about the 33. Got some of the penalty yardage back, but it'll still be a 2nd and long. So then, at that point, if Kickapoo and Joplin are going to have the same record, they won't have played each other this year. So there's no switching that'll go around, but it'll then come down to points. And so some of it we don't know till we know what the scores are in the games they play. But based on, and that's what I didn't know coming into it, was how that would change. And those that seem to be in the know seem to think that it's more likely as there's a give up the middle, and that's Howes on the carry, and he will gain another 10 yards or so, about 9, up to the 41, set up a 3rd down and 3. So those people that are in the know seem to think that there's a pretty good chance that Kickapoo will actually jump ahead of Joplin. But either way, it looks like we're going south. I can say that with pretty much certainty. I could say that going into tonight, that with pretty much certainty we were going to go south. Because nice stop on 3rd down on the open field there on the give to Baker. And that was Jackson Torrey stepping up.
Yeah.
He's played a good safety
Jackson has
all
played
year.
Good safety.
But at any rate, I could say it pretty safely because the teams we were most likely going to play were Joplin, Kickapoo, or Ray Peck. And anyway, we're going south.
Yeah.
The only possibility to go north is if we played these guys, and that wasn't going to happen. So 4th down and 2. It looks like they're going to go for it. Under a minute to go in the quarter. They may just take a delay of game. They did call the timeout. And then they'll let Leonard presumably punt it away after this is over. 51.5 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. 21-0 our score. Broncos on top. So again, at this point, the only possible teams we could play are all to our south. But seems to be, I think that if you handicap it, it's probably 60-40 or 65-35. It'll be Kickapoo. The other side would be Joplin.
Right.
So, ready to take a trip in a couple weeks?
Let's go. Might as well plan a little Branson trip after that, huh?
Why not? Spend the weekend.
Heck yeah.
If we're going to, that's the thing. We're going to Kickapoo, then it's even closer to Branson.
It is.
Although Joplin's not that far.
No.
And have a nice rag before we.
Yeah. And then toss some rolls, maybe.
Home of the Throwed Rolls.
That's right.
I was always more partial to Sykeston for that.
Okay.
And, boy, this is going to be close. Give to Howes.
I don't think he got it.
I thought he did, but we'll see about where the spot is. Where they're standing, I'd say no, but where they're putting the ball down, I think yes. They're going to come measure this again. I think he just got it by like the nose of the football, but we'll see. That's because I grew up in St. Louis and driving down toward Mobile,
right,
going to see my grandma. We would always pass through it down, and you'd see the signs.
Oh, yeah.
For Sykeston, home of the Throwed Rolls. Lamberts.
Didn't get it. Or the chain broke. Oh, my gosh.
First down by the nose of the football. I think when they put the link back on, they like just put a couple of extra links in there.
Just a little bit.
Would you ever do that?
No.
Chiefs chain gang?
No, hell no. Be fired.
You think they'd notice on national television?
Oh, yes.
Can't get away with much.
No, you can't.
1st and 10 from their own 44. Back to throw is Leonard. He eludes one man throwing on the run, incomplete.
Boy, he throws a nice ball.
He does. He was throwing it away.
Yeah,
because
still.
Fredrickson was chasing him.
It was a nice ball.
Yeah, on the run, and threw it, 35 yards downfield out of bounds on a line, pretty much. 21.6 seconds left to go in the quarter. So, interestingly, the word is that Kickapoo may be the lesser team of the two in terms of team strength. So that may, when all is said and done, be a good thing for the Titans.
Right.
Baker on the run, Fredrickson on the tackle, a gain of a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 9. But, so we'll see. It's always tough, as you well know, in these, weirdo districts that have, 80% Kansas City teams and a couple of teams from down south. We just, there's no competition, similar competition to know apples and apples when it comes to the, level of play of these teams.
Oh, you're exactly right.
Anyway, that's the end of the 3rd quarter, 21-0, the only score of the quarter going to the Broncos. Obviously, they lead it by 3 scores. 12 minutes of football left to go. We'll see who comes out with it when we come back. It'll be 3rd down and 10 for the Broncos here on Titan Football. A presentation of Backcourt Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
High school sports fans, check this out. 810varsity.com now brings live video game casts for more than 25 KC Metro schools all season long. Now you can watch and listen to the games live on your computer, iPad, or phone. Park Hill South, Miege, Aquinas, the Olathe and Blue Valley schools, and the list goes on and on. Plus, live scores, playoff brackets, rankings, and more. Get all the games live at 810varsity.com.
Welcome back to Titan Stadium. Joel Becker and Coach Royce Boehm. Could be the last quarter of football here at Titan Stadium this 2022 season. Back to throw, swing pass from Leonard to Howes on 3rd and 9. Going up the far sideline, breaking tackles, and he's about a yard shy of a 1st down. It'll be 4th down, but I imagine they'll go for it here on 4th and 1. In Titan territory at the 47-yard line. They need the 46. I mean, if I'm the Broncos, why not? I mean, it's not sticking it in their face, or anything like that. You just.
Yeah, I know.
I'd just run a regular play and see what happens. Heck, the way he's running it, give it to House.
I know it.
He's in the pistol, and they do give it to him, and he will get the first down easily. Needed a yard, got about 3. Oh, now we're going to get yet another late hit personal foul on the Broncos.
Where's Barrows at? There he is.
Well, and again, the thing about stuff like that is eventually there should be some sort of.
What is the penalty count now? What's the penalty count?
I think it's about 10-0. Or well, we had a couple of false starts here.
Oh.
They called it on us. How is that not a late hit? I mean, the play was over, and the guy comes in literally like 2-3 seconds later and slams into everybody.
Oh.
And then there's a flag that comes out. I don't know what the call is there. I mean, I know what they said, but I don't know.
I don't understand.
Okay. So weird. 12 for North, 3 for West. That was their third. And the longest penalty they've had, was it defensive holding was what they called? I don't get that at all.
No, I don't either.
So give, and we this time see Chapman on the run. First time he carried the ball, I believe, in the game. And a pickup of about 4, 2nd down and 6. Clock running 10.5 minutes or so left to go in regulation time. So anyway, getting back to we were talking about way back when it's, two tough teams to finish out the season. And you say, well, maybe that'll put them in a better position in the playoffs because you're playing really tough teams. And then you turn around and play a less
right
team, and maybe it'll feel like you are in an easier situation. Leonard keeps it himself. Hops over one man. There's another flag that goes flying in holding territory.
Looks like face mask.
Is it? Yep.
Oh,
but it's
hands
against
to the face.
Yeah, it's illegal hands to the face or a face mask against the offensive team, the Broncos.
There's 14.
So I was going to say, it couldn't have been on Leonard. Nobody could reach all the way up there.
No kidding.
So the negative part of that, and it'll be yet another 50. How many of those penalties that they've had have been 15-yard penalties? Like I said, at least 6 at this point. So it'll be 2nd down and 17. But the danger on the other side of it is, sometimes after if they don't do any better against Liberty North than they're doing tonight. Leonard back to throw over the middle. He's got a man, incomplete. Should have been caught. He was wide open.
Yes, he was.
And the throw wasn't perfect. It was a little down. But Mosey, and it looks to me like he hurt something. That may have hit him in a sensitive area, actually, as it turns out. But if nothing else will teach you to get your hands on the ball.
No kidding.
Just having it go through your hands and hit you where I think that one hit him.
Yes, it did.
So it'll be 3rd down and 17. Anyway, the danger is that, if you end up playing a game like this and then you play another game, just as bad against Liberty North next week, then you can go into the playoffs not with, very little confidence and so on. So that could be a bad thing too.
Timeout.
And yep, they did take the timeout. 9:50 left to go in regulation time. So, because, we've talked about this with football and how much of the game relies on momentum and confidence and stuff like that. And if if they end up losing this game by 3 or 4 scores and get shut out and they go to Liberty North and have a similar situation.
I know.
That puts you in a tough position even going to Kickapoo. Not to mention you're going to be on the road. You got that big long bus ride, which we're not used to. And so on. They could be in a disadvantageous position going into their playoff game, at least from that perspective. Now, on the other hand, they could get there and find out that playing Kickapoo is like playing a JV team compared to these guys, and walk all over them. You never know. I mean, And like I said, one of the things that's tough, we'll see game film, but you just, without having common opponents to really gauge, a lot of times it's really tough to know what this, I mean, you remember a few years ago, Lee Summit beating Joplin when Lee Summit was like a 3-17 and Joplin was like 7-2 or something. Leonard, again, very elusive, throws but incomplete. That one was intended for Winston, and again, he dropped it.
Boy, I tell you what, you're picking those numbers up good, Joel.
I don't know how. What you don't know is I'm just making it up.
Yeah, you got your binoculars.
No, what I did was I looked at the sheet and I just picked the first name and I just decided he was going to have a really good game.
He's having a heck of a game.
Leonard will punt this away, and it will bounce and go into the end zone for a touchback. They did touch it before it got in, but their momentum took them into the end zone, so still becomes a touchback at that point. 9:32 left to go. The Titans will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20. That was an old Bob Costas story. You've seen the movie Slapshot way back when with the Hanson brothers and all that. That was based on a real hockey league, the North American Hockey League in the 70s. And there was a team called the Johnstown Jets that what the Charleston Chiefs were based on. And what a lot of people don't know is the team that was from Syracuse, New York, the one with Coach McCracken, who had the bounty on his head. Halterman makes another catch on the throw from Wolverton, who's a little slow in getting up. He makes the catch, but it's only good for probably about 3 yards, 2nd and 7. So what a lot of people don't know is that early on in his career, Bob Costas was a basketball announcer and also did hockey for this little station up in Syracuse, New York, and he broadcast for that Syracuse team, the same one that had the fictional version was in the movie Slapshot. And they give to Jackson Torrey up the middle. He is hit as he gets across the 25 to maybe the 27. Pretty good stick on the play on the tackle, but positive yardage. It'll be 3rd down and short, 3rd and about 3. And so there was a game early on in the season. I think it might have been the first game of the season because the team that they were playing against had brand new uniforms, and they were coming into Syracuse, and there was a blizzard that day. Earlier November blizzard or something. Tossed by Mayo on the Wildcat play, and it's caught for a 1st down. So, is that Torrey? I think who made the catch. And so the Titans will move the sticks to the 30-yard line, 1st and 10, 31. So so there's a blizzard, and the bus comes in with, and this is a junior hockey league basically, NAHL, North American Hockey League, and they show up on the bus right at game time. Wolverton will throw near side. He's got a man wide open. It is caught. Quincy Torrey goes out of bounds, although they knocked him down inbounds at the 40 or 39. It'll be 2nd down, about 2 from there. So they show up right at game time, and they rush out on the ice for a warm-up period, and an equipment manager is just tossing guys, chucking guys their jerseys as they come on the ice without any regard to having the guy wear the jersey he's supposed to be wearing, because they were all just rushing to get the game going. So Costas said, all this preparation he does as they go Wildcat here, and David Mayo trying to go around left tackle. He should be pretty close to a 1st down. There's a late flag. There's a little discussion going on between 4 players, 2 Broncos and 2 Titans, well away from the play. And the flag is in that vicinity of some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct type situation. The Broncos are moving backwards, so they must think that the penalty's on them.
Personal foul.
It's a face mask call against the Broncos, so it is against them.
So,
yet another 15-yard penalty.
So a defensive end grabs the face mask of an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Away from
not
the
anything to
play.
do with play. Yeah, the play was already over, basically.
Away from it.
Yeah.
How picky is that?
Well,
That's 15 penalties now.
and like I said, I think they're up to 7 or 8 personal fouls of one type or another. Mayo with the toss on the far side, and it was caught only a few yards on the wide receiver screen over there. And it was actually caught by Wolverton, and you'll never believe it, but there's a flag on the field.
That's our best chant of the night. You know that? You can't do that.
Holding on the Titans this time. So Costas was like, he'd done all this preparation, learning all the players' names. I mean, it's Bob Costas. He's anal about these sorts of things, and all that went out the window. Somebody during this, there's like a 10-minute warm-up before the game. Somebody scribbles down a roster for him so he has some idea of what the players were actually wearing as numbers. And he said I looked down at the list, and the first name on the list was Bob Smith or whatever it was, and he said he decided right then and there that Bob Smith was going to have the game of his life.
Oh my God.
I mean, this is radio, so nobody could see anything.
Oh yeah, by the way, there was another penalty.
Yeah, well, we mentioned that already.
I know.
Holding on the Titans this time, so.
Jeez.
1st and 22 after the penalty. Wolverton on the delayed give. Mayo trying to get around left tackle with some running room. And guess what?
Oh, another flag.
Another flag. It was away from the play. We may still be here next week.
I know.
Because, the game can't end on a defensive penalty. 6.5 minutes left to go. This one again on the Titans. I believe it's going to be another holding call. From the spot of the foul. We'll send them back to around their third. At some point, these sorts of things just get comical, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
But, that's the other thing about it, though, is that, like I said, they did put in various different things in the rules, like for, if you get 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties.
Well, there's false movement. They just missed that. Never mind.
Don't.
I know. That would have been on us.
Don't tempt. I don't care who it's on at this point. Don't tempt fate. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Oh.
2nd down and 29 after the gain. So.
Did you see the official talk to him?
Did he? No.
Yeah, he did. Just hold it.
I let you get away with that one. Don't do it again. Trips on the right.
Yeah, but the obvious ones, man, and I tell you what, that's another thing too, is I have not seen
incomplete pass to Sims.
Wolverton get knocked down so many times. His passes get knocked down so many times.
Yeah. Well, and on that one, he had to try and throw it around the rusher who was coming in.
Uh-huh.
That might be Randall Ward, actually. Or no, Cade Williams is who that was. So here is Quincy Torrey on the run up the middle. He's had some of the better runs we've had.
Uh-huh.
It's like I'm surprised on the plays that don't have a flag. 4th down and 21. Go for it?
No.
Try and pad David Mayo's punting stats.
No kidding.
He's got the wind at his back. Standing on his own 31. Tell you what, we've had really good snaps for
being the backup
brand new
snapper?
long snapper. Boy,
Ooh,
how
got
about
it.
this?
Oh, no.
Touchback. Boy, they made a valiant effort, and
They did.
it looked like they were going to be able to down it at the one
But everybody's momentum was.
Yeah, it was like if one of them had thought to just slow down and see if somebody throws the ball back, then we would have been fine. But every one of them was just rushing to get to it, and so none of them could keep their momentum from going into the end zone. Because the first guy down there did a great job of not going into the end zone himself before he knocked the ball backwards. He did go into the end zone, but he wasn't still in possession. So the ball was still, at that point, available to be downed. But then there was 3 other guys, and they all went into the end zone with the ball, so it didn't matter. But like I said, if even one of them had slowed down, would have been an opportunity to down that ball at about the 1. Learning moment. How about that?
Learning. Oh.
Swing pass. And a good tackle in the open field as Ford made the pass, and then he was just really belted on the play. No roughing the passer?
Nope, there wasn't.
Goes down as a 4-yard loss. It'll be second down. Clock running with under 4.5 minutes left to go in regulation time. Titans trailing 21-0. And just don't even seem to be in it anymore.
No.
Broncos are doing their best just to run out the clock at this point. And the give, Howe's up the middle. He's got plenty of running room. Gets tripped up as he got across the 20 to about the 24. So after the loss of 4, a gain of 8, and it'll be 3rd down and 6. Next week, we get to go to Liberty North, which is something we didn't always used to get to say.
No.
We get to go there.
And you want to talk about a hostile environment.
Yep, they charge us more for concessions up there.
Yeah, they do. But we still have better popcorn here.
From the pistol, the give up the middle. And up to, boy, on that, they didn't, I could swear he was down a yard shy, and they let him get up and get a first down. I mean, we'll see where they mark it. The carry, by the way, was by Chapman, their 3rd running back. And they did, in fact, mark him where he was down. So it's 4th down and about a half a yard. That's a pretty good spot. I have to give him credit for that. I don't know why they didn't blow it dead, though, if he was, in fact, dead, because he was down there. That's not where he was tackled the second time. So comes up to the line, and Ford able to get the first down as he was able to roll over the pile and pick up that yard that he needed across the 30. So it'll be 1st and 10. 2:40 left to go in regulation time. So Broncos, Ford at quarterback, pistol formation, Chapman behind him. One wing back now gets down to a tight end position. They give it to Chapman, trying to go up the middle and up to the 35-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm a little shocked. Number 2 team in the city, they didn't travel very well.
In terms of the number of fans?
Yeah.
Well, especially considering that it's right across the district. It's
I know.
Not like they had far to go.
Ray Peck brought more people.
Well, I mean,
they knew Mark was here.
I was going to say, no offense to Mark, but what else are to do in Ray Peck? You got to come here. So another flag on that last play. They called the Broncos for an illegal shift.
Illegal shift, and the flag was thrown by the farthest guy away from the whole situation. Well, you know what? He had only thrown 2 flags all night, so he thought he'd better get in the game.
I was just going to say, they were going to dock his pay. He did get paid by the flag, right?
I guess so, and this one you do.
2 minutes and counting in regulation time. After the penalty, 1st and 15. Twins on either side. Empty backfield Ford, back to throw. Throwing, far side caught. And now they say incomplete. Again, how is that incomplete, but the other one was a fumble?
I know.
I thought he actually had that more
too
than the other one. Ball did come loose at the end, but I thought he had it more than our guy did when they called it a catch and a fumble. So 2nd down and 15. Unfortunately, that does stop the clock with 1:46 left to go. Pistol formation. Give up the middle. Flag comes in. What a surprise. Chapman on the run. He'll get to the 32,
and another one.
And a second flag comes in at the end.
Gosh, we're going to have more flag stats than anything.
Yeah. I would be kind of curious to know what the, end of game meeting is like. I don't know if there's any kind of a supervisor watching any of this.
Well, that's just it. It almost feels like there is a supervisor watching because
unsportsmanlike conduct against the Titans.
And holding against the Broncos, right?
So I think if memory serves in this situation, they march off both penalties, and so they'll go back 10 yards on the Broncos, and then they'll go ahead 15 yards on us. And that is, in fact, what he's doing, which will make it about a 2nd and 10. It's because it was a spot foul on the hold. It's actually going to be a 2nd and 9. And I don't really know why they start the clock up again on that, by the way, with 2 penalties.
I don't know. I think they want to get out of here.
Yeah, could be. So we're down to 1.5 minutes left to go. 2nd and 9, and it is a handoff. Howes up the middle, just going straight up north-south, gets to the 39, maybe the 40. It'll be a yard or so shy of the first down. 3rd down and about 1 from there. They may not have traveled all that well, but they're still a little more animated than the home crowd is right now.
Well, they got 21 points reasons why to, right?
Yeah. 3rd down and a long 1 or a short 2. They give it to Howes up the middle. 1st down, plenty more. And
why'd they stop the clock?
To move the chains.
Oh, okay, stop it.
And then there's a late flag.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it literally happened as they were moving the chains. So it was way post-play. And it may or may not be a complaint foul. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that was what happened was that there was a Titan player who, at the very end of the play, I believe it was the left tackle, Caden Green, just basically shoved him down the field like 8-9 yards, and it was literally after the play was over. And I think that the Titan player was upset about it, got up and mouthed off to the referee, and that's why he threw that flag. That is, I think, the 2nd unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Titans. Not on that player, but on the Titans overall. But, it's a tough one. As Ford throwing it, incomplete over Mosey, but had the opportunity to possibly be intercepted in that it went beyond Mosey, but it was out of the range of the defensive back, so ends up bouncing harmlessly to the ground. But you gotta wonder about stuff like that when you have a game like this. That somebody should like look at it and say, if one team is committing personal foul after personal foul, that how do you? As they will go ahead and kneel it out and finish this one off. How do you, there's got to be some sort of consequence to that, one way or another. 15 seconds officially left, but this one's going to finish as a 21-0 win for Lee Summit North, winning the city showdown over both Lee Summit and Lee Summit West this year. Having a fine season are the Broncos.
Yep.
Expect that they will do well, probably end up facing against, get a rematch of their Game 1 opponent, Liberty North, in the district finals, but we'll have to wait and see. This one is history. 21-0 our score. We will take a quick break and have our post-game stats. Wrap things up when we come back here on Titan Football, a presentation of Backcourt Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.
High school sports fans, check this out. 810varsity.com now brings live video game casts for more than 25 KC Metro schools all season long. Now you can watch and listen to the games live on your computer, iPad, or phone. Park Hill South, Miege, Aquinas, the Olathe and Blue Valley schools, and the list goes on and on. Plus, live scores, playoff brackets, rankings, and more. Get all the games live at 810varsity.com.
Welcome back out to Titan Stadium here at Lee Summit West High School in Lee Summit, Missouri. Joel Becker along with Coach Royce Boehm. Lee Summit West dropping to the Lee Summit North Broncos 21-0 our final score, and Coach has the final game numbers.
Well, I tell you what, and they're not impressive on either side. Total offensive yards for the Lee Summit North Broncos, 288. And for Lee Summit West, 124. For a team that's number 2 in the city, you would kind of expect that number to be a little different, wouldn't you?
Well, yes, although this game was, I think that part of it was that this game was so loud. The whole second half, they basically played running the clock out.
Right. Yeah. And then passing yards, 77 for the Broncos. For the Titans, only 48. Rushing yards, 211 for North, 76 for West. Penalties. Here we go. Lee Summit North had 16 penalties for 150 yards. Lee Summit West had 7 for 60. Man, it's ugly.
And almost all of them coming at for the Titans. They didn't have any penalties.
No, they didn't in the first half. They didn't. Time of possession, 25-17 for Broncos, 22-23 for Titans. 18 first downs for Lee Summit North, 9 for Lee Summit West. So just really not a pretty game on either side.
No, it really wasn't.
And once again, Coach Horn takes his team into the locker room.
They don't like having meetings on the field, huh?
I guess not.
But it's such a nice night.
It is.
Got some scores before we finish things up for today for you. It's the latest I have is a third quarter score. I'll try and check again. Yeah, still third quarter. As Versailles 30-20 over Boonville.
Oh, mercy.
Unfortunately.
Oh.
So things have gone a little south in that game as well.
8-man football? Versailles. No. Come on. You got any scores from down south? Joplin?
I like that's what Preps KC has. So
oh, okay. Got it.
I'm sure we can look it up. Mark will try and find it as we're going over some of the city scores. But let's see. What do we got here on the Missouri side? Belton and Raytown. Raytown ends up winning that game 28-21. They're in the fourth quarter at the Battle of Blue Springs with the Jaguars. Looks like they're going to take it. It's 37-21, Blue Springs South over Blue Springs.
Blue Springs South over Blue Springs?
Yeah, with about 8.5 minutes to go. Let's see. Cameron St. Joe Benton, 21-19 Cameron with 1:40 to go. Real barn burner.
Barn burner.
Holden beats Carrollton 49-21. Capital City 49-6 over Truman. Let's see. Center 46-20 over Pleasant Hill. That's to start the fourth quarter. Excelsior Springs.
That was Center and P Hill score again?
Yeah, 46-20 Center.
Wow. Center's for real this year.
I guess so. Excelsior, that's not a final, that's a fourth quarter
Right.
score. Excelsior Springs and Raytown South, this is a final. Excelsior Springs 34-27 over Ray South.
Wow.
Final in North Kansas City, the Hornets lose to Fort Osage 25-14, the final in that one. Let's see. Grain Valley 40-7 over William Chrisman. Kearney 63-12 ahead of Grandview. That's a final as well. Wow, Free State's got a lead over Lawrence High. Free State's winning 28-20 with 4 minutes to go in that one. That's a bit of a surprise.
Kickapoo 22, Glendale 2.
That was expected.
It has
Liberty is beating Lee Summit 48-28 late in the fourth quarter.
Ozark got them a win tonight, 28-7 over Branson.
Okay, that's their first win of the year. And that was also the potential danger that that Ozark could conceivably catch up to us.
Right.
Except they play Nixa next week, so it doesn't look good for them. Although you never know. Liberty North wins at Ray-Pec tonight, 44-14.
I don't.
So. Let's see, what else do we got before we finish off? North Platte, West Platte, 18-7.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a Joplin score? Okay, we're looking for that before we sign things off. So, like I said, Staley is winning at Park Hill, or they're actually at Staley, but it's 41-27. So Staley's not a bad team.
No.
Doesn't look like. Park Hill South 49-15 over Platte County. That's a late score. Richmond 48-0 over Knob Noster. It's a final in St. Louis. The Hawklets take it to the Salukis.
34-25, 34-28, Carthage over Joplin.
34.
Yeah, not
34-28.
28. So it was pretty close.
Final. Yeah.
That was pretty close, though. I mean, Carthage is a good team, and so Joplin's definitely for real.
Right there's what happened in the last 3 seconds.
With 3 seconds left to go in regulation, Joplin attempted a game-winning field goal. Carthage blocked the kick and returns it all the way for a touchdown.
Wow.
Time expires.
So it was like a 1-point game.
Yeah.
And
wow.
And they would have been able to win it if they could have gotten a field goal. So
wow.
Okay, well, if we do end up going to Joplin, we know how to win. All we got to do. Anyway, let's see here. Oh, Rockhurst and St. Louis U.
This is in overtime with Republic.
Who is?
Nixa.
Oh, wow, 28-28.
Well, that would be big for Lee Summit North, because they could conceivably jump into the top spot if Nixa loses.
Wow.
I don't know what the points values would be in that scenario. Yeah, but I don't know where they are in terms of whether the Broncos can catch them that way or not. But anyway, so Rockhurst, this was actually an overtime game, and Rockhurst beats SLU 17-14 in overtime.
Wow.
So an overtime field goal is the difference in that game, as it turned out. So the west side of the state at least wins this initial battle.
Right.
Points going into tonight's action. That's the district going to district.
Nixon number 1 with 46-76. Lee Summit North 44-11.
So you'd think that if they lost, that North would jump ahead of them then.
Especially with the point differential.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If they lost, even if they only lose by 1, they should gain 12 points on them that way.
And see, this isn't with the scores tonight, though, right? This
No.
was prior to.
Yeah.
Okay.
That won't have any of tonight's scores in it yet.
Oh, man. So Kickapoo could go past Joplin now.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking is going to happen, actually. And then obviously we still have another week's games to play, but based on their opponents, we assume both teams will most likely win.
Right.
And assuming both teams most likely win, and there's not a big discrepancy in the point values of their wins, so that may be one of these weeks where you actually do have to run the score up a little bit, get the 13 you can. that would be the best thing you can do in either of those situations. But assuming that's what happens, then Kickapoo may still end up ahead. We'll see. So next week we go up to Liberty North, and so that's kind of the only real question about tonight is, you want to forget about tonight by tomorrow if at all possible. But what do you do? I mean, Liberty North is probably better than Lee Summit North, and so now what?
I know.
And that I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, you want to. I mean, there's a certain impetus to just sort of get through that game, not get anybody hurt, and prepare for the playoffs.
Right.
Because what difference does it make who wins that game for Lee Summit West? It's like, you know what? I mean, we're more than likely we're going to be locked into the 6th seed before we ever hit the field.
Yes.
So what? And again, it doesn't matter if we jump ahead of them from, whether we're 6-3 and or whatever.
Yeah.
So, who cares how much you lose by or whatever. So I don't know, but at the same time, you also want to go into the playoffs on, firing on full cylinders as much as possible. So, at any rate, all right, are we ready to wrap things up?
Yes, we are.
Finish things off. 21-0, our final score tonight. Thanks for sticking with us all night long here at Titan Stadium. Next week, of course, we'll be up at Liberty North, so we'll hope that you'll join us on 810varsity.com and also lswradio.com if you prefer. But for Coach Royce Boehm and Mark Files and everybody involved, we appreciate you joining us tonight. 21-0, the final score. Broncos on top of the Titans here on Titan Football. A presentation of Backport Sports, Beck Bros Productions, and 810varsity.com.